Welcome to the StockMiner.com studios here in the Black Hills of South Dakota. I'm your StockMiner Brian Johnson, making professional trading simple. And we had another update today. Once again, a quiet 7 points by the time we're done in the S&P, and almost 83 points or so in the Dow. Let me refresh this and see where the day actually ended. Yeah, 82.76. So the S&P being the lagger, the Dow being the strongest today. So a little bit of reversal compared to what we're used to, but not substantially larger change from one indice to the next. As you can see, we were in a high base formation. I said that was bullish. Wait for a pop above 200. Once we got the pop above 200, it was up the rest of the day, but this is still not the most convincing move in the world. This is why I stay out of it in the last little bit. Now, little bit could mean 10,500. It could mean a retest of the highs. I don't know exactly, but for me, it's very overextended, and I'm not gonna. I'm not gonna play a gambler. You gotta know sometimes when to hold them. There's other times you have to fold them. There are points during the day that I want to walk away. Sometimes I just run. It really all depends on the type of day I'm having and what's going on in the markets. So we still did get a bullish move though. It's up nonetheless. So play it as such. Be very careful. Now, as you can see, we're hanging out at this upper level. I don't know what it was, 10,425 or something like that. We got to 10,406. So we're hanging up here very well. The next level to break is this little arrow, or this little level above us, which I still think is at about 10,425. From that point, we could see a run as high as 10,500 again. However, I'd be day trading it. I'd just be day trading this, trying to pull as many points as I could and then get out before you get your hands slapped. Here was what I was really watching, were the 50-day moving averages, and guess what? We not only got to them, but we closed above them on the Dow. So the Dow did manage to get a push above the 50-day moving average and close above there. It was not true of all the indices, though. We'll find that out as we push forward. So the NASDAQ here up and above its 200, also creeping up and out of this upper channel line. I could probably adjust this ever so slightly, but I kind of like it where it's at. It's fine. I'm just going to say that it basically broke this and now it's trailing it, using it as support. It's still not the strongest move. There is a pullback coming. It's just a matter of when here. NASDAQ on a daily, I call for that 1820 mark. That was the 50-day moving average. We exceeded that today. Also a close above that point on the NASDAQ. So my next level would be somewhere up around 1840 to 1850, somewhere up in there if we can make it that far. Once again, I'm not playing it. I'm not concerned about going long the market right now. I have been looking for short entries on the way up though. NASDAQ on a weekly, once again, one more day, but we are up and above this overhead resistance level. Keep in mind that we have a day left before this candle closes. So yes, I start looking at these on Thursday, but they really don't matter till they close on Friday. However, I would go as far to say as this little doji we saw back here a couple weeks back certainly did turn out to be a reversal doji. So now we'll wait and see where we close. I would expect to maybe keep us up in this area someplace by the end of tomorrow. I'm sure it's got a lot of the bears just biting their nails, wondering if this thing's ever coming back down, and for good reason. Here you can see us above the 200. Here was that high base that we were watching. Notice how when it broke to the upside, the Dow was breaking up and over its 200, while this was breaking up to the underside of the 200. Hung there, bounced above it at the end of the day. Once again, very, very difficult trading. That's why I'm not trading the indices right now. I'm simply watching them, trying to get a better idea of market direction. And look, the S&P 500 did not close above the 50. So we have some non-confirmation in the S&P. Be honest with you, I guess it really doesn't matter to me. The NASDAQ and the Dow have both broken up and over their 50-day moving averages. And so this maybe was held back today by financials. Let's see, transportation didn't look like they did all that well today. Financial did okay, so maybe that was part of the lagger, but wasn't quite able to close above the 50. My target was 1103 to 1108. That was my no-fly zone, and we hung out pretty much between 1103 and 1108 all day. So I wasn't flying. Maverick was on the ground, hanging out with Goose. So if we get up and over 1110, okay, maybe you want to shoot for something, but I'm telling you, 1115 is my next overhead. A break above 1115, then I could see 1130. That would certainly be my next target. So if you want to play these markets long and you feel you have to jump in, I would certainly wait for a break up and over 1115 before I would do something like that. SPX on a weekly, back to its overhead resistance here. As you can see, once again, I see no reason why it could not stay there over the next few hours of trading and close around in this area by tomorrow night. Only time will tell. We are consolidating these last 2 days. And look at the VIX. Definitely, definitely, definitely fear coming out of the market right now. We're seeing day after day after day of fear coming out. So just not a lot of worry on investors' standpoint at where we're at right now with the move up all week in the markets. Sorry about that. I can't multitask. But you see a huge move up a few weeks ago. It's been followed by just a slow bleed back out. Like I said, I'm just looking at this as a gauge of total investor fear. There is none. We had a pretty good spook here a few weeks back, but whatever. Markets haven't really worried about it too much. So looking for a push back up to this 30 or above level, that will be a much larger level for us to really start to get more concerned about fear and fear coming back into the markets. Apple on a 60-minute going nowhere, up 38 cents by the end of the day, basically basing sideways all day long, still waiting for a bigger break of 204. Today's high was 203.89, so 204 back to 206 or 204.50 back to 206, probably a safer trade. Here's Apple on a weekly once again, watching this head and shoulders form. We'll see where that ends tomorrow, but that is definitely something to keep on your radar. If that happens to roll over and head back down below 190, that could make for an incredibly nice short in Apple. ABX on the 60-minute breaking up and out of this overhead channel. Love this trade on the daily, but I did not love the way it worked itself out. I really wanted to slide up and out of this falling wedge. Instead, we just flat out broke over it. So I don't know. A good trade this week. Great trade. Playing the falling wedge was a great call, but it didn't play out as well as I would have liked it to. Not a good entry. ANN on a 60-minute. You can see it starting to come back up again after a little move down yesterday. Once again, this still just looks like a bull pullback. I think there could be a little bit left in ANN to the upside. So if you got in back here and are still holding long, I'd say you're still in pretty good shape there. FAS on a 60-minute up a $1.12, but right back to this overhead resistance level we see here. Not still no entry for me, as you can see, just moving sideways, staying between these two levels. I'm not interested in trading that. Break over 74, 74.50 or so is probably a little safer place to get long if you're looking to do that. Otherwise, below 69 for a short. FAZ falling down, of course, today then. But you can see it looks like it's just finishing up a final wave down here. This is a very logical place for it to find support right back here towards this 1850 level, which is where we had some previous support down here. So wait to see if it'll bounce up. For me, it's got to be over 1925 or so before I get real interested in going long. Otherwise, below 1840 or so would probably be a pretty decent place to get short if you're looking for an intraday short on this tomorrow. Here you see it again, rising wedge, falling through. Below 1840 is my call here for a little short play. You could see that all the way back to 18 and maybe below if things go that direction tomorrow. HD has been the play of the week. If any of you happen to get in on this, above 28.50 was a call to the long side. Above 29 was my second entry for you. Above this 29.44 was my third entry. We've seen nothing but really good runs to the upside. As it was yesterday, if you weren't long by yesterday, you're too late. You needed to get in over this 28.50 or this 29 area. So for those of you that did, congratulations. This was a great trade. This turned out to be a fantastic trade if you caught any one of these first two or maybe three entries in this. However, a little late now. I would not be doing anything with it. And if you are long, by the way, as an extra special gift from me to you, if you are long this from back here at 28.50 or 29, by the end of tomorrow, I would be out of this trade. I would not hold this over the weekend. It's getting pretty extended. And yes, it might blast upwards on Monday, but it could just as easily blast downwards, and I would just as soon take my profits for the week and be happy with my trade. And we can always start again on Monday. You can always get back in. Can always get back in. POR on a 60-minute, pulling back here, moving sideways, going nowhere. A big 2-cent change today, but you see the big move up, the rapid move down. Now just kind of basing sideways. As long as it stays above this 19 area, you're in good shape if you're in this trade. But a very choppy sideways action. POR was not the best trade for the week. Probably going to have to wait another week for this thing to really materialize. And that'll do it for today. Not much else to say, guys. You know where I stand on this, waiting for this overhead resistance to be broken. If it is, okay, play a little long day trade, but I would certainly not be holding anything overnight at this point if you're going long. The risk is now to the upside in my book, which means I think there's more risk in going long right now than there is in going short. So I am playing it as such. I would much rather you be short your positions and holding overnight than long. All right, be back with you again tomorrow night. We'll see if we can get some real motion, something we can actually play coming into a Friday. Bye.